And so when I was using effects, I thought they're really cool by themselves, and I realized when I was using them, I wasn't using them in loops. So I have an example here. We can look at the top. I'm using when A is pressed, go ahead and change the color. So I'll press A, and we see the color changes, and that's that. But what happens is, I have another example here. When you go ahead and put that in a loop, it takes on sort of a life of its own. So watch, I'll go ahead, start the program, hit B, and now this color effect is constantly changing. And now this, what was sort of changing the hue, is actually this weird sort of speed variant now. So if I go ahead and change this from 25 and make it less, I can go ahead and go 1, and we see it's a nice slow change. Where if I go to 100, you can see it's changing really quickly. So it's fun to experiment when you put these in loops. So I'll do another one here. So I'll clear the graphic effect, and I'll show the ghost effect. So again, the ghost effect is cool by itself. I'll go ahead, press C, and we see the ghost effect, the opacity goes down. So I press it again, pretty cool. But now put it in a loop, and you have this really awesome effect. So we go ahead, press D. I have it in our forever loop. So I'll press D, and we see our character slowly fades away. And again, the same logic holds, where if I change this to a number that's lower, I'll change it to 1, we see the fade out is going to happen slower. So I'll go ahead and hit the green button. I'm sorry, I'll hit the D key. And we see that it slowly fades away. So I encourage you to go ahead, if you use effects, try to throw it in a forever loop and change this value according to how fast you want the effect to change. So that is my quick tip.
Concept of being able to bring over blocks to different sprites if you want them to have the exact same actions. Now, the backpack tool is the one that we've talked about in the past, where you can say I actually already have a script in there. So you know what, let me go ahead and drag that out onto my scripts area. But this was actually brought to our attention by another user, and is something that was also featured on the old version of Scratch. If you want to go ahead and have a really simple way of dragging or copying sequences of blocks over from one sprite to another, all you have to do is literally click and drag it over to that sprite. So right now, technically, sprite 1, my Scratch cat, is selected, but if I drop this on the bat, and then I click on the bat, you'll notice that these same blocks are on the bat as well. So the confusing thing about this is that it actually does not highlight the bat when you went ahead and you drag the blocks over, but it still goes ahead and makes a copy onto that scripts area. And I'll do it with the same thing right here, if I can grab them. Oh, okay, well, excuse what just happened. Something disappeared. So yeah, so any sequence of blocks that you want to go ahead and take, you can just drag, drop over onto your sprite, and then it should go ahead and transition. And